Hey guys, it's Jody here with Honeysuckle Hill Bee-stro, and I'm so excited to introduce to you one of the most fascinating people that I know, and that is Linda Chezem. Linda is a retired Indiana appellate court judge, and she's a retired professor of public health law at Purdue, plus a plethora of other things to add to her resume too that she'll tell us about. So Linda, thanks so much for coming and
thank you,
cooking.
Jody. I mean, can you imagine? This date nut pudding was the Christmas and Thanksgiving treat. You didn't get it in the summer. One, okay. My mother was not about to turn the oven on for an hour in all this heat. So here I am, July 1, I'm getting my favorite holiday dessert. Which I think is kind of cool.
Does it feel weird to be making it in the summertime?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. Because ice cream was about all we had for dessert. My father had a dairy, and he would take the milk into the model dairy in Terre Haute, and then on Saturdays he would get paid for the milk, and he would always buy 5-gallon thing of ice cream in those brown paper containers.
Yes.
And we ate that ice cream and loved it.
Yeah.
The only challenge we had was if he let me pick, I would get vanilla. Because vanilla was great, making Coke floats, root beer floats, chocolate sundaes.
Right.
Vanilla was so versatile.
Right.
He would pick butter pecan.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with the butter pecan, Linda.
No.
For a treat, so. Yeah.
But you're probably not
Limited.
going to want chopped nuts in your Coke float.
That's
or your
true.
You know, brown cow or black cow, it didn't matter. You didn't really want chopped nuts. So it's fun to have doing this on the first day of July.
Well, good. Okay, so there was a place, like a milk depository in Terre Haute, that local dairy farmers would take their milk and then it would get distributed.
Well, it would be bottled, pasteurized,
right
and
there,
bottled, there at the dairy. Now, my mother pasteurized the milk we drank at home.
Right.
She churned our butter.
Wow.
She made cottage cheese, and it was years before I liked cottage cheese because she made large curd cottage cheese, and I only like small curd.
Yeah.
So she didn't make cheese. My grandmother would sometimes, but it was amazing. As I look back, my mother, I have her sauerkraut jar, for example. She made sauerkraut. I don't know where you can buy non-canned sauerkraut. I'm sure you can somewhere, but I don't know where.
Well, you may be getting some emails after this video goes out. There might be somebody that has some for you.
Oh, well, if they're going to email me, I would like for them to send me date nut pudding recipes from their old church cookbooks.
Okay.
Because my mother's recipe was butter, the lump the size of an egg, the Fairview Church, and I brought the cookbook with me. This is just the most wonderful cookbook.
So
this is wallpaper.
Yeah, I was going to say that looks like wallpaper, probably from a book, a sample book.
That they cut it to make their recipe book, and they did it to celebrate the 100th birthday.
And this was in '82 that they did this. Wow.
Right.
Just plain cooking. That is fun.
So, if somebody wants to send me a church cookbook, I'm more than happy to receive it.
Okay.
I've collected cookbooks. This cookbook is from Clay County Delts.
Oh, okay. The Taste Treat. Okay, what year was that one, does it say?
And I've got to see.
Ethel Bogart, that's my great-grandma.
Oh, great.
Oh my gosh, that's so
funny. I read these and I just think they're so much fun.
They are. And you can tell so much history by old cookbooks because there's certain things that are not introduced until certain time periods. Like ranch dressing was in the 80s, and that's when we start seeing all of those, and it's just fun. Yeah. Okay, so Linda, let's talk about you. All right, this is your segment, so let's talk about you.
Well, that's sort of boring.
Well, I don't think you have had a boring life. So you grew up here in Clay County.
Right.
And hearing you talk about your education, you kind of had not the typical education.
No, I didn't. I hated school. Truly hated school. Couldn't get away from it fast enough. And I went to Corey the first 2 years.
Okay.
I rode the bus to school. And then my mom started teaching on Pinkley Street at the Pinkley Street School.
Okay.
And she pulled me out of Corey and brought me into town. And Miss Tribble was the principal. And she was so good to me. She let me be the school librarian.
Oh.
And so when I got to the 4th grade, my mother taught the 4th grade. She didn't make me go into my mother's classroom in the afternoon. I ran the library. I wrote out the cards and loans, and it was an old coat closet. You know, it wasn't even a real room, but I was happy.
Yeah.
And so she let me do that rather than go sit in the classroom. Well, then I had Miss Tribble for class. And she caught me reading
God forbid.
a Nancy Drew book during math. And so I had to stand at recess and write 100 times, "I will not read in class." I will not read in class. You know, so it's just like I just couldn't.
You've always been a rebel, Linda.
No, it's not being a rebel. I just couldn't make it work. So finally, my parents agreed that if I would pay my own tuition, I could drop out of high school and go to college. So I left Brazil High School in the middle of my senior year and went to what was then Indiana Central College.
Is that ISU?
No, it's University of Indianapolis.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. It's a sweet little school, but keep in mind, I thought I was going to the big city and be free and all that. Well, at that point in time, Indiana Central College required chapel 3 times a week.
Oh,
you had to take a class, at least 1 3-hour class on the Bible each semester.
So was it a church?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Evangelical United Brethren and United Methodist.
Okay.
At the time, they were
Merging.
trying to go together,
Okay.
which was a whole different out here.
Right.
It was fascinating. So, you know, I used to tell kids, be careful what you ask for. Because I figured out if I had just waited it out another semester, I could have gone off and gone over to ISU, and my parents would have paid my tuition. As it was, I spent all my 4-H prize money to get that semester.
The one semester.
It cost, it was $700 and some dollars. I don't remember. But I just remember I'd saved my 4-H prize money. I'd saved the money I'd made working. And I had to use all of my savings. And if I'd just waited a semester, my mom and dad would have gladly paid my tuition and books. No
Do you
problem.
feel like you learned a bigger lesson, though, by going, or?
I did, I think. I did. And I don't resent the Bible part.
Right.
And this is an interesting piece. Going to church and being preached at, thank you, but no. I don't do real well with being told what to do and being preached at.
Right.
But studying the Bible with inquiry, I really found it fascinating, and I'm glad I did it because I think that has enriched my life.
Yes.
So then I had to pick a major. I picked English, and I took most every class I could. English, math, science were not my forte.
Right.
And then I graduated from ISU finally, and went to California to work. And I worked where I dealt with people in the morning. I took phone calls from people who were unhappy that an insurance company had not paid their insurance, their medical bills.
Okay.
That was a real eye-opener, let me
Right.
tell you. And in the afternoon, I wrote letters. I had to create letters to send back answers. And before I could mail out any correspondence, I had to go up on the 8th floor and get the lawyers to approve my letters.
Okay.
And I figured out they're making a whole lot of money and I am not. And I'm doing all the real work.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense. So I decided to go to law school.
Okay. How old were you when you decided to go to law school?
Well, what, 22, 23?
Okay.
I was admitted to law school. I decided in 67, 30, is that right? That would have been 30. That's too old. That's not right. I decided to go to law school, and then I took the LSAT, and I did well on that. I always do well on the standardized test.
Okay.
It's the day in and out grind that I
Right.
get bored with and don't make, like my grades never look as good as my test results.
Okay.
That's just me.
Right.
So I decided I wanted to go to law school and was going to apply to go in California when they informed me that because I had not lived there a full year, I was going to have to pay out-of-state tuition. Well, that was a no-go.
Right.
So I came back to Indiana and got admitted to IU Bloomington Law School, told my parents I was going to law school. They looked at me like I had announced I was going to join a den of thieves or a brothel. And my father said to me, "Linda, decent people don't need lawyers." Well, I don't often think my father was in error, but he was really in error on that one. Because it's the decent people, the people that are trying to do the right thing but get caught up in stuff, who really need a lawyer. Somebody who is habitually in the system knows it better than the lawyers do sometimes.
Yeah.
So I rarely ever say my father was wrong, but in that instance, I would disagree with him. But he lived through the experience, and I graduated from law school. And
Did he get to the point where he was proud of you and that he saw the benefit of you being a lawyer?
I think my whole life long, my dad was proud of me and a
Yeah.
cheerleader for me.
Yeah.
He wasn't very verbal.
Yeah.
He was a quiet guy, and he would say things. He would drop a line on you that would just crack everyone up, but you didn't expect it from him.
Yeah.
So, but I always felt very supported by him.
So once you, okay, what's genre of law or whatever, you know the terminology, I don't know the terminology. So what did you decide, what aspect of law did you decide to go
I
into?
ended up going to Paoli
Okay.
and opening an office on the north side of the square next to the new bar. And to the people of Orange County and Paoli, I am so grateful. They taught me a lot. But Max Apple was the judge that had been named the judge. He was a lawyer. And so I, in effect, bought his practice from him.
Okay.
And
that worked out.
It was truly an eye-opener.
Were you the only female lawyer in Paoli?
Yeah, first female lawyer in Paoli and the only one for quite a while.
Okay.
And
Were you accepted?
Well, yes and no. It varied.
What year are we talking? What decade?
Okay. I was admitted to the practice of law in 1971.
Okay.
Actually started in Paoli in 72, spring of 72. And the lawyers in Paoli and the judge, be it Judge Ratz or Judge Apple, everybody would go to the welcome in about 8:15 for coffee before we go over to the courthouse. That's where you deal.
Yeah.
Okay. And the lady who ran the Welcome Inn made fabulous homemade pies.
Okay.
So I always had pie for breakfast. I mean,
It's the Pop-Tart.
if you,
You know,
yeah,
really, it's a Pop-Tart.
if you can, you know, if it's sugar, I tend to like it. And I remember one instance with Jim Tucker, young Jim Tucker, James C. Tucker. He came in very proud, very happy. His wife, Sherry, had just given birth to their first child, Jenny. And he handed out cigars to everybody but me. So was I accepted or not? I've given him a hard time at different times through the years on this. And I don't think it occurred to him to give me a cigar because women didn't smoke cigars typically. And I didn't smoke at all. Whether he knew that or realized that, I don't know. But I don't like tobacco smoke. It gives me a headache.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jenny grew up and married Senator Young. So I remember the day she was born.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. All right. See, I didn't know that. I'm learning things. So, okay, you're a lawyer. And then how do you get to the appellate court position?
See,
I mean, do you have to be a judge before? No. Okay.
Just anyone who's admitted to the practice of law in Indiana theoretically can be appointed to the court.
Okay.
And Indiana has, quote, a nonpartisan judicial selection system, theoretically.
Okay, so what's that mean? Practically.
Well, this discussion, I miss Bill. He was so proud and so pleased because he was one of the first merit judges, i.e. nonpartisan. Yeah. And I said, you're not a merit judge. You just didn't see the dealing that was going on in the back room. You know. Yeah. So, but the truth of the matter is the lawyer files an application, and there's a judicial qualifications commission, and 3 of the members are appointed by the governor, and 3 are elected by the bar, and the Chief Justice presides over it all.
Okay.
So there's still quite a political influence, and to this day, and that system was a constitutional amendment. And I can't remember the exact date, but early 1980s. To this day, I don't believe, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe a Republican governor has ever appointed a Democrat lawyer to the Supreme Court or to the Court of Appeals, and vice versa. No Democrat lawyer has appointed a Republican to either the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeals. So nonpartisan, maybe merit, maybe there's more merit being considered there, but they might want to rethink what they call it.
Okay. So what made you decide to throw your hat in the ring?
I actually was getting really tired of the trial court bench. I never had the time to sit in the library and read the case without somebody poking their head. Hey, Judge, you got a minute? What do you think? And I'm like, get out of here. I want to read.
Right.
But I ended up, my kids were young, and I'd go back to the courthouse after I put them to bed, and from like 9 until midnight, try to read and research. And it just was a lot. Right. And I had a lot of jury trials.
So you were a judge in Orange County then?
Lawrence County.
Lawrence County. Okay, so how did you get from your practice in Paoli to...
Well, practically speaking, I was invited, because I lived in Lawrence County, I was invited to be the campaign chair for the Republican candidates for City of Bedford government. Now, we didn't do so well, and it remained Democrat, but I learned a lot. But as a result of that, when the legislature passed the statute creating county courts, the judge had to recommend to the governor who to appoint. Well, it was Governor Bowen, Republican, and Judge Baker was a Republican. And Judge Baker's wife, Florida, this is where I really believe in pillow talk, kind of bent his ear about it was time. They'd never had a woman on this bench. So Judge Baker sent my name off, and Governor Bowen appointed me to the county court.
Okay.
And then I was reelected, and ran a second time and was reelected. And then Judge Plummer resigned, John Plummer resigned to go back into private practice, and Governor Orr appointed me to the circuit court bench. And I think I really admired Governor Robert Orr. I think part of the reason he appointed me was because I was a woman, and he thought it was time that Indiana have at least one female circuit court judge. If I'm not claiming great legal intellect here, I'm saying as a practical matter, he thought it was the right thing to do, and I appreciate it.
Right.
So I did run again, and I didn't have an opponent. And circuit court at that time had probate jurisdiction, I had about 300 juvenile cases a year.
Okay, wow.
Plus all the regular civil, from marriage, divorce, contract disputes, plus criminal. And you know, I'm trying a case that occurred in the not-so-friendly tavern parking lot one week, and the next week I'm trying a civil contract case. I mean, it was wild.
All over the board, yeah. Okay.
I felt very much like the Jill of all trades and master of none. So I applied for the Court of Appeals, and Governor Orr appointed me, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. So how old were you whenever you first became judge in Lawrence County and then got on the Court of Appeals?
Well, Jody, I have to stop and do the math.
Okay, all right.
Because
Should we pause the camera?
Probably. I'm thinking.
We can ballpark it. Were you in your 40s? Were you in your 30s?
I think I was 29.
Wow, that's amazing. That's awesome. Okay.
And
you went through law school pretty quickly, too.
I did.
Okay.
I just didn't have them. I borrowed $10,000. Thank you, Riddell Bank. They trusted me. My dad did co-sign for me, but I paid him back. But I didn't have much money, and so I went through in 2 winters and 3 summers, and I thought the first semester was going to kill me. I had 19 hours.
Wow.
And it was brutal. And I can remember the IGA down the street from the apartment. I didn't have a car, so if I couldn't walk it, I wasn't doing it. Had big bags of house brand macaroni and spaghetti for $1. Great big bags. So I became the queen of starch. I mean, it's amazing I'm limber because I ate macaroni and spaghetti with just butter, salt, and pepper more than once. I just didn't have the money for cheese.
Right.
I got the money for cheese, I would.
Yeah.
You know, but so I got through fast.
Yeah.
And I was 29 when I went on the county court bench.
Okay.
And I was the youngest judge for a little while. But
so then whenever you got on the Court of Appeals, how old do you think you were then?
Okay, that does it.
You want my hair? Okay.
I can't, you know, it's really funny, but I just don't sit around and think about how old I've gotten, Jody. This is not, it's not, I don't like to think about age.
She's doing the math.
Yeah, I am. 42.
42. That still seems really young. I mean,
well,
is that...
it was young compared to some of those old men, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I was, Becky Skillman was my clerk, the county clerk, and I really appreciated her because I looked at our court record keeping and said, something's got to give. I mean, we can't keep hiring women to type record. And so she worked with me, and we got the clerk's office, the court, and the probation office all computerized on the same program so we could talk to each other. And oh man, such a good difference it made.
Yeah.
We were able to get orders out quicker. We were able to compute non-support faster, you name it. And I didn't work on the election side, of course, but it helped even with how elections were conducted. I get to the Indiana Court of Appeals, they don't have but one computer. And it's on a cart, and they call it the cow, computer on wheels. And they wheeled it from office to office. I'm looking at this like, what is going on here?
So how many judges are on the Court of Appeals?
Well, there were 12 at the time. There are now 15.
Okay.
And so not everybody wanted the cow.
Yeah.
Not everybody was about to even figure it out. But I was really very frustrated with it. So I happened to be talking to Bobby Small, and I said, this is ridiculous. And he was the executive director of the Prosecuting Attorneys Council at the time, and he said, we're going to upgrade our system. You want what we have to send it over to state surplus? And I said, no, I want it.
Yeah.
So I got it. And Ursula, my administrative assistant, and I spent a weekend with broomsticks poking up the ceiling tile to run. I know this is on camera, but it's too late. The statute has run. We probably violated every fire code this state and Marion County have, but we got the wires hidden and we got workstations set up, and my clerks and Ursula were very happy to have a computer system. It truly was so much better for their work. They could ship each other drafts and argue and then come see me. And several weeks later, I'm going to leave the judges' names out of this.
Right.
Some of them are dead and can't defend themselves. But one came over who had an office near me, and he said, if I could get the court conference to agree that we need computers, would you get them for us? I'm thinking, I'm not paying for your computers, you guys. I said, well, yeah, we need about $100,000. And he said, well, you've written grants. And I'd written a lot of grants, but with a lot of help from other people. And at that point in time, the judges on that court were not going to be very helpful in writing a grant. They didn't have grant writing experience. I said, okay, let me see what I can do. Well, it ended up, we got a grant for $100,000, and all 12 offices, chambers, as we call the judge's office, got computers, and we got training for the clerks and training for the judges, although that was a hoot. They hardly could figure out how to some of them could turn the computer on. Using a keyboard was just not something they were going to do.
Right.
Some of them would handwrite their emails and take them into their administrative assistant and have her key in the emails to send emails for them. So anyway, but life moves on, and I had this wonderful, marvelous opportunity to go to Purdue, and I did.
Okay.
And then after I went to Purdue, Dr. Lee said, well, why didn't you come to IU? And I said, well, you didn't ask me. You didn't ask me. He said, well, we're asking. So Dr. Lee and Dr. Lechtenberg, Dean Vic Lechtenberg, and Associate Dean for Research at the IU School of Medicine, Dr. Lee, worked it out where each school had half of me.
Okay.
And I worked on a portfolio of interest to both schools. The Alcohol Research Center was very much interested in the legal implications of alcohol and the legal issues with alcohol. And certainly interested in how rural communities dealt with alcohol. And that was because it is a public health issue.
Right.
It is
Right.
public health. Purdue was interested in public health, rural public health, obviously alcohol, and kids. And I had done a lot of consulting with the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, fondly known as OJJDP, which is the federal spigot for juvenile justice funds.
Okay.
And I reviewed their grant applications for them through the years. So that's what I did, is research and wrote on legal issues around kids and public health and alcohol. Those
Okay.
were kind of the three pivot points.
So is that how you got to be on AA's national board?
No.
Okay.
No, had nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Back in 1976, I was running for election to county court, and the local newspaper interviewed me, asking me basically what I liked and didn't like about being a judge. And I said, I really like the work, but I don't like not knowing what to do about the alcoholics. I said, I don't think they can afford to keep getting $1 fine and cost, which at that time was $30. They don't stop. They keep coming back. It's like a revolving door on my courtroom. I don't know what to do. And there was a group, an AA group, that was meeting regularly, successfully, about half a block west of the courthouse. And 4 of the men came up and asked my bailiff if they could talk to me. And they told me about AA.
Okay.
And I remember I'd never heard of AA. I mean, I just didn't know what it was. I asked them, well, how much does this cost? And they said, oh, it doesn't cost anything. And I said, sold. So I got the meeting information from them, and my court reporter would give people who came into court on alcohol-related offenses a slip of paper with the time and location of the meetings, and I would say, I think you have a problem with AA or with alcohol. Maybe you should go to this meeting. Well, for some people it took, and some people it didn't.
Right.
But that's how I really found out about AA and just got involved. And there was a real barrier wall. I'm not sure, but the scientists wanted rigorous data to show that AA worked. AA is anonymous.
Right.
AA doesn't collect that data.
Right.
And they're not going to compromise
Right.
their message. And so it took many years, but about, and I don't have the exact date, 4 or 5 years ago, there was an excellent review of the literature and a journal article published showing that AA is an effective treatment modality if, and this is the key, if the person wants it to work.
Right.
And it seems to me that's true with most of
Right,
what we
right,
do.
right.
If we want something to work,
Right.
we tend to make it work.
Right. Right.
And if we don't,
Then
well,
it's not going to.
I didn't want high school to work. I just
Yeah.
wanted out. So I got out, and it could have worked for me.
Yeah. So how did you get on the national board then? How did that?
Well, just I volunteered and did things with AA.
Okay.
And so I served on what they call the General Service Board
Okay.
as a non-alcoholic member.
Okay.
And it was, for me, I'm grateful for the experience. I've learned a lot. I've learned stuff I didn't want to learn, but I've also learned things that I know. I am absolutely sure that I was a better judge because those 4 men came than I would have been otherwise, because it was hope they offered.
Nice, nice.
They offered to me the hope that what I was doing, that my judgment could make a difference for the better.
Nice.
And I had lost faith in jail actually making people better. Now, I know, and I was friends, I still am friends with a lot of sheriffs, and I've had more than one sheriff tell me, I've saved more souls than any preacher. Well, maybe.
All right, so then, Linda, you have written some books.
Well, yes, I did. Nobody's going to want to read it, though. I wrote a book that I really wanted to use as a basis for a class I was teaching in forensic science. There was not any good textbook out there, and so I wrote Ethics in Forensic Science. It's still on Kindle if somebody wants a copy for 99 cents, or they can email me and I'll give them a PDF free. But yeah, and I'm working on 2 other books. I don't know if I'll get them done or not.
But you wrote one on public health.
Well, that's true. I forgot.
Okay.
But that was with a co-author. But we did. We wrote under a grant from CDC, which is Center for Disease Control,
right.
Which is the public health arm of the federal government. We wrote the bench book for the state of Indiana, and 13 other states copied our bench book, used it as a model, but certainly had to plug in their own statutes. So yes, I did write that.
Okay.
But I had a co-author, Amy. I don't claim that as my complete.
Okay.
It was a huge undertaking.
So what did that book do? Because you have a big interest in public health.
Right. Well, the thing for public health is public health has lost part of its vision, I think. The idea of most early activists in public health was to educate people on how to be healthier. Public health tended then to move to a more authoritarian approach, and I really wanted to write the bench book so that judges would see that public health should educate more than regulate.
Okay, so the books that you're working on now, because you came back to Clay County, came back to your roots, 2 years
ago? To live quietly. Peacefully. And write a book on leadership and spirituality.
Okay.
And of course, I live maybe 8 miles at the most from the graves of Robert Greenleaf, Eugene V. Debs, Eva Keur, and the guy who wrote, and now I'm blanking, German name, Desiderata.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so here are these 4 people who are thought leaders, but not well recognized, not even heard of in this community.
Right.
That's another story. I mean, Clay County lives next door to these thought leaders, and I can tell you, I bet if we did a poll, 80% of the people who live here have never heard of them. Max Ehrman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I decided, I was on the Greenleaf Center board for 10 years. I had the opportunity to meet and work with some fabulous intellects around leadership. And I thought, you know, this is interesting. We have these leaders right here in our backyard. Mm-hmm. Robert Greenleaf's servant leadership has gone around the world and over in a lot of publications. And so how has he influenced? And it's fascinating because he has influenced a lot of people. Eugene Debs was decried as a socialist. Was he? Maybe. We're certainly doing most of the things he recommended.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Wow.
And of course, Eva Kure, to me, is such an inspiration. When I read how she decided that she could forgive what the Nazis had done to her, that it was what she should do, and she forgave them for what they did to her. She didn't give a mass dispensation.
Right.
She's very clear that she had the power to forgive. Wow, that power to forgive is the most awesome power of all.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I'm trying to put together a book on leadership and spirituality.
So one of the things that you have a passion for is good government. I know that. And knowing for folks to understand laws and the Constitution and stuff. So you're starting a new project. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I will, because we have incorporated a not-for-profit, which the whole aim of, it's called Ag-Grow Inc., and it is an Indiana not-for-profit, and we have filed for the IRS 501c3 designation. We will not be lobbying. We will not be campaigning. The whole point of this is to provide opportunities for people in the community to learn about and understand what their government should be doing. Mm-hmm. I have thought that for a long time, and years ago at Purdue helped put together government by the people. Mm-hmm. The whole idea is, in order for people to have reasonable expectations of what the government should do, they need to know what the law says the government should do.
Right.
And the law includes Constitution, U.S. and Indiana, and then also the statutes, federal and state, and then county ordinances, if you can find them. And in Clay County, that's you need a search warrant almost. So the starting Ag-Grow Inc. with the idea that we provide information based on the actual words, based on the law. Here's what it's reasonable to expect your government to do. It's probably not reasonable to expect them to do other things. And we're going to do a celebration of the Constitution, and those details are not available right now. But we will invite people who are interested to actually look at the words of the Constitution, look at some of the case law that has interpreted the Constitution, and then think about how that applies then to state and then to local government. Because this is my personal bias, and I'll claim it as my bias. I believe people in Indiana have no clue as to what their local government could or should do. Mm-hmm. I would bet that over 50% of them don't know about the Open Door Act, which says that they should live stream their meetings, they should post agendas, and the agendas should be posted at least 48 hours prior to the meeting, and they should be on the internet, and they should post minutes. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not being done uniformly. There are some places where it's done well. There are some real good examples, and there are some not so good examples. And I kind of think maybe people might want to understand how their government actually is functioning when they decide who to be in their government.
Right.
You know, you have these campaigns, well, so what do you decide? What makes you decide to vote for candidate A over candidate B? I'm kind of interested in how they do the work they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. I've started going to the commissioner's main monthly meeting. I have not been going to the payment of claims meeting. However, I've discovered by watching it that they sometimes get off the agenda. So maybe I need to start going to the payment of claims meeting so I can better understand their work. I don't want to do that, and I know a lot of people tell me they have children, they have work, they simply cannot go to the meetings. I get that.
Right.
But they should be able to go to the website of their local government, be it City of Brazil, be it Town of Clay City, or Clay County government, and watch the live stream meeting. And if the sound quality isn't good, public access counselor needs to be told. It's not.
Yeah. Linda, I'm just so grateful for you. We met whenever you started coming here, and then we found out that we have a connection with our families going way back. And you've just been a gem. You've been a supporter of our family, and I appreciate that. And you just have inspired me. So anyway.
Well, you have fed me. I would have starved to death without Honeysuckle Bee-stro.
Well, tell me what it is that we're making today.
We're making date nut pudding, and we're making it from an old recipe.
All right, guys, join us in the kitchen where we're going to make Linda's date nut pudding. All right, Linda, so show me what your goods here.
Well, what I like to do is cream the butter with the brown sugar.
Okay.
And I don't use machinery like Cuisinart, blenders, mixers, but then again, I don't cook a lot, so.
Do you even own a mixer?
I do. I own a hand mixer, and I probably could even find it. But then I'd have to find it, wash the beaters, and it's a lot easier just to spend a couple of minutes. It's actually good therapy. Creaming butter into sugar is probably better than, in terms of mental health therapy, than people realize. Because it takes a certain amount of physical effort, and you can kind of let your mind wander. And of course, my mind wanders whether I let it or not. It's just down the garden path for me.
Went ahead and started the syrup for the recipe, which was 4 cups of water, 2 cups of brown sugar, and the recipe, instead of giving like actual measurements for the butter, said butter the size of a walnut.
Right, and my mother's recipe said a lump of butter the size of an egg. And what I'm thinking is the recipe we're using is from Fairview Church, which is in the northern part of the county, and that's probably how they measured their lump of butter. But the southern part of the county measured it
in eggs,
a lump the size of an egg, because my Aunt Ruth made date pudding using that recipe. And I can't find the old cookbooks that had it, but it doesn't matter. A walnut, the lump the size of a small egg, that's close enough. Right.
So I figured it was about 2 tablespoons. So that's what I measured out here. And then you've got you have 1 cup of brown sugar that you're mixing your lump or 2. Creaming, being all creamy. And you're making the batter portion while I make the sauce. So, and the recipe actually looks pretty easy.
It is. It's super simple.
So, am I supposed to let this boil or just melt the brown sugar?
Yes, you simmer it.
Okay. All right. I'm going to bump it up just a
tad. Not real long. Probably. Okay. I don't know.
Like a minute or so?
Yeah, you want to feel it thicken. It needs to.
Okay, so we need to. Okay.
Starting to thicken. Now, the recipe doesn't tell you that.
Right. And that's the great thing about these old type recipes, because everybody knew how to cook then and cook from scratch, so they left out some of those little incidentals, Okay, now you're also going to need 3/4 of a cup of milk. So while you are doing that,
vanilla.
I'll set that right there. This is your vanilla. We make our own with vodka and vanilla beans. So let me grab the milk.
Oh, great. We're going to have everybody thinking I'm chugging down whatever that is.
Oh, you
vodka.
should go with me to the store whenever I stock up on vodka to make vanilla. I'm sure they think I'm a lush, especially whenever I go early of a morning and get 6 bottles of it, you know.
Okay. Now I'm going to add the flour, the allspice, and the cinnamon.
Right, which is 2 cups of flour. You've got 4 teaspoons of baking powder, half of a teaspoon of allspice, which is a spice you don't use very often, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. So,
I've never tried this with cardamom. I've often thought about it.
Yeah, it would probably be really good.
I never use it, and I never have it.
It's hard to find it, and it's a little pricey too.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's got such a good flavor when you do find it.
Now we're going.
Yeah.
Okay. My sauce is doing what it's supposed to be doing.
I think I'd turn the heat off now and
Turn
let
it totally off. Okay. All right.
meander its way down.
Okay. All right.
And I pre-mix everything. I'm adding this in. I'm not pouring the liquids in until I have the sugar and the flour blended.
The way you want it.
Yeah.
All right.
And there are no directions that say to do it. That's just the way I learned to do it.
Okay. So were you a good home ec student?
Oh, no. But Catherine Moore was a lovely lady, and she was very patient. And actually, I took cooking in 4-H.
Okay.
And what I loved the most about 4-H is I got to judge. And I participated in judging cooked products.
Oh, nice.
And I learned a lot about why I placed a cooked product first, second, and third. I had to be able to say why I did that.
Okay.
So if you've got to be able to say why you gave the different products the different rating, you got to know what you're doing a little bit.
True.
So, but I've not ever been known as a great cook. However, Bill Gerard thought I was a good cook because I did it and he didn't have to pay to go out.
Well,
and I cooked venison.
Okay, and so that made you a winner since he liked hunting. So
yeah, because he went hunting every fall and he usually came home with lots of Venburger.
Yeah.
So.
And Bill was your husband, and he just passed away a couple years ago.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And
How many years were you guys married?
27.
Oh, wow. Okay. So how's it looking? I
laughed because I said, when my mom met him, I thought we were all going to have to start calling him St. William. She just thought he was wonderful. I thought he was wonderful too, but not quite to the level of sainthood. I wasn't quite there. So now you measured my milk for me.
I did. Are you ready for it?
Yep.
All right. There we go. And that's 3/4 of a cup of milk.
Okay.
You want me? Now, okay, I don't typically measure vanilla because I feel like, hey, it doesn't, So what if you do a little bit extra?
I don't think
it says a teaspoon. Or actually, I'm supposed to put some over there. You're supposed to get a teaspoon.
There, that looks good.
And I'm supposed to
get a teaspoon.
Why
don't you call it a scoosh?
Why do I typically call it something, but now I couldn't even tell you.
A scoosh vanilla means you get to determine how much because you can't buy a measuring instrument
That's true.
for a scoosh.
That's true.
Now this gets really thick.
Okay.
And the dates don't soften it much.
Now if you feel like you need more milk, just holler because I got more. You think you want more?
I just need, I don't
just
need
a splash?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll add just a splash. And see, this is what we call really cooking by the feels.
Whoa, yeah. There, that's going to do it just perfectly.
So you've added the dates.
Right, and one of the things you've got to do, you can't just throw whole dates in this. you've got to pit and chop the dates.
Okay.
Because it's of a consistency that if somebody bites down on a pit, that's real damage to your tooth. And I think I was meticulous in getting all the pits out.
Okay. Okay. Now, can you buy pitted dates, though?
You can, but here's the thing to watch on that. A lot of times they will be sugared to keep them from sticking together,
Okay.
and you don't need that added sugar.
Okay.
It just isn't quite right. It makes it different.
So
Because sugar melts.
Yes. So you're adding in a cup of, you added in a cup of the dates, and
Right.
you're doing a cup of nuts.
Yeah.
By the feels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love walnuts, so, you know,
Yeah.
if it has a few too many walnuts in it, I don't
It's okay.
care.
It's okay.
Now, this
All right.
is ready to go in.
All right. You want me to put it in, or you want to?
I'll let you put it
Okay,
in.
all right.
I'll hold the pan or something.
I think I'm good. Man, that is thick, thick, thick. It's almost like a dough or like a bread dough consistency.
And you'll want to
Spread
flatten
it.
it a little bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna use this spoon and get this off. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Hey, that's another 2 or 3 bites there. Might as well get it in the pan.
Well, you can lick the spoons on this one because there are no raw eggs in it.
Okay. Well, here you go, Linda. There you go. You can lick it.
You don't know.
Okay,
what's
so
in this.
I'm just pouring over. Just no rhyme or reason here. Just do the whole pour.
Just a pour over.
It's liquidy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
all right, we're putting this in a 350 degree oven. Recipe says 50 to 60
Yes.
minutes. So,
Well, there's a lot of liquid in there, and it creates its own syrup.
yeah, and it will thicken and get moist and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll let it do its thing then. Linda, you said that you like whipped cream with your date pudding.
You're supposed to eat whipped cream with the date pudding.
Okay, so we got heavy whipping cream in here. I'm
and
going to
you're
just
giving it a squish of vanilla.
Yeah, maybe what do you call it? A jigger?
Yeah, a jigger of vanilla.
And we're going to put a little bit of powdered sugar in
Yeah.
here too. Okay,
And you're going to
we're
turn it
gonna
on.
whip it, and hopefully we won't wear it. Here we go.
Hopefully it won't turn into butter.
See, it's going. I feel like I should have brought my diaper. Typically, I diaper this thing.
Thing I remember about, we had to whip to make the vinegar.
And you did it by
much
hand?
Work.
Did you do it by hand? To whip, or did you have a mixer?
My mom would make me do the whipping.
Linda, we got our whipped cream made.
Yep.
This is the date pudding out. And so this is what we want it to look like, where it's a little,
It's
kind of
mushy.
moving. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes its own syrup.
For as stiff as what that dough was going in.
That is such a generous serving, Jody. It's very rich.
Well, I didn't get this size by not being generous with dessert.
There you go. Yeah, you got to put your topping on a little bit
Okay.
there.
How much topping?
That's an Andy one.
That's an Andy. Okay, and then here is,
And
I'll let you put the dollop of the whipped cream on. Okay, so you want a smaller one.
So, we go pop. That's
All right,
so
there we
much
go.
fun.
There's yours.
Okay.
Is it best to eat this hot then, Linda?
Well, it shouldn't be. It's really hot, so
Okay.
you may burn your tongue. It is best to eat it warm for sure.
Okay. Let's try this.
Okay.
See how it
it
is.
looks,
I've never had dates before. So,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
so
Well,
this is new for me.
To me, I love it, but it's very hot. Watch, yeah.
Okay, I'll blow.
Because it's not bubbling, but it's still warm.
Yeah. Wonder if you could do this with persimmons.
Isn't it good?
Mm-hmm. It does remind me of like a persimmon dessert.
Yeah.
Linda, winner, chicken dinner. Thanks for coming and showing me how to make date pudding. and for the
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you.
Appreciate
it was
you.
great fun. Thank you.